Okay, so in this video I want to talk about my favorite place to fish, Pyramid Lake in Nevada, land of the giants. Some of you have heard of it, some of you have been there. Place is just magical, that's all I'll say. Um, so I'm going to go over some color selection, size selection like I did in the stock trout video, and some of the couple retrieves that we use there. And we don't fish from a boat. We haven't tube fished yet. We're going to try it this in November when we go, if it's not too windy. We're usually fishing either from the bank or from our ladders. So that's what these retrieves are in accordance with. So same with the stock trout. I always recommend having a couple of the stinger style jigs. The first fish I hooked into on our third to last trip, we went to Pyramid back in April, I believe. My brother was fishing a little bit before me. I was tired from the drive. I was just having a beer, and I set him up with a Death Dealer Stinger 1/8 ounce. And he had caught a handful of fish and then hooked into a 10-pounder, and it was on that stinger hook. So when I set my rod up, I put on a stinger and went down. And the first fish I hooked into was 12.5 pounds. Lo and behold, it was on the stinger hook. So it made me a more firm believer in using those. I've landed several trophies on the stinger since then, so always make sure you have a couple of those. You don't have to buy all stingers, but have a couple. My go-to sizes there are, I start with my 1/8 ounce, which is about that size, not very big, and then I'll use the 1/4 ounce. Some guys use the 3/8 or the 1/2 ounce, the big balls, the big ball heads, not balls. Anyways, I don't like the heavy stuff. I'm more of a light fisherman. Those guys like it because they can cast them way further and it falls to the bottom faster. So if that's your thing, if you want to be able to bomb it out and get to the bottom quick, then I would recommend the 3/8 or even the 1/2 ounce. But I run a 9/6 light action rod with 8-pound braid tied to a 10 or 12-pound fluorocarbon. So I'm not trying to wing 3/8 and 1/2 ounce all day. I usually throw the 1/8 ounce if they're in close enough for me to get to them. So I would say the glow white, possibly like our cotton candy, have a couple bright colors, but that glow white is a killer there. So definitely have the glow white. The Death Dealer is my personal favorite there, but I have not tried the Zombie out there or the new Chainsaw Massacre. And I think those are going to be both just deadly out there. The Toxic Avenger works really well. This was a color that I made specific for a guy. The one we call Nightcrawler. You can't quite see it in this video, but it's got the blue flake in the black head. It's got a little blue in the tail. He says that's a dynamite color for him out there, so hopefully he has success. Another dynamite color for people out there is the red and black, so that's our Demonio. So have a couple dark colors, a couple bright colors, and a couple packs of stingers on hand, just in case they're short biting. Sometimes they're inhaling them, but sometimes they're short biting, and that comes in handy. So when I'm fishing from the ladder, I'm going to cast out as far as I can and just let it hit the bottom. And sometimes we'll do that standard jig bounce, but keeping it on the floor. Okay, so it's real steady, maybe speed up here and there and then back to real steady, but keeping it bouncing on the floor, on the sand, all the way in. And if you're in an area with a bunch of rocks and stuff, that retrieve's not going to work. Sometimes the retrieve I talk about for stock trout like this, where I'm going fast and ripping it in sideways, sometimes that works real well out there. I've watched some behemoths chase behind. I just didn't hook into them. But my go-to retrieve there that works probably 90% of the time is I'll let my jig hit to the floor, and I kind of just wind up the slack so my line's taut, and then I just kind of pull it back. So think of the jig. Use this. Think of the jig stripping up off the floor, and it's going to stride maybe 2 to 3 feet. So it's these 2 to 3 foot strides, and they're probably only coming about yay high off the ground. Stride, strip off the floor, back to the floor. I'll wind back down and pull again. Wind back down, pull again. Sometimes my pulls are slow. Wind back down, and sometimes I pull hard. Okay, so I'll pull fast and hard. And what that's doing is it's making it jump real erratic. Instead of these where it's cruising on the bottom, it's going to jam across the bottom. And sometimes you'll get a reactionary bite out of that. If there's a big cutty swimming by and you jerk that thing off the floor and they see it rip past them, they're going to chase it down and eat it. Those things are super aggressive. When they want to feed, they feed. But when they are being finicky and they are being smart, that's when that slow strip works really well, or that subtle bounce on the floor. Something that looks like an easy meal for them. Always remember that you're going to fish barbless out there. We have barbless options on our website. So don't go out there and fish barbs. I think it's a $250 or $220 fine, something like that. And we're, you know, there's a slot limit to keep. We don't keep any. We do all catch and release out there. So we're fishing barbless, and we want to get the fish in pretty quick, get the photos done really quick. We're not taking 100 photos of these fish. Get your good pick, give it a kiss on the head, send it back in the water, and keep fishing. You want to bless yourself out there. You don't want to curse yourself. You can ask some of my buddies about that, how that goes with a curse. So 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce are my go-tos. We do have bigger sizes, but 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce, couple stingers, handful of bright colors, handful of dark colors. That way you have your bases covered. I noticed that the black works, the dark colors, especially the black, works really good before gray light, up until gray light, and then a little after gray light, you want to switch maybe to the white. Sometimes the black just keeps crushing. But if it doesn't, switch up to the white, or like I said, like an olive color one, like the Zombie or the Toxic Avenger. Those colors are going to be also crucial out there. Sometimes they're not keyed in on white or black. They want that olive color. And that Zombie has a little bit of black, a little bit of chartreuse, a little olive, and some red in it. So I think that's going to be key out there. And then the last ones I want to talk about that I haven't tried out there yet, November will be the first time, is our mini bombers. So these are the same size as our trout, stock trout size, the 16th ounce. So same size jigs, except these come with an 1/8 ounce or a 1/4 ounce head. So you'll be able to cast this guy as far as you can cast this guy and do the same stuff, but with a micro bait. So if they're being finicky and just want an easy small meal, which with those fish it's kind of rare, but that's killer right there. I think this is going to be a killer jig size out at Pyramid. On our website, you can go there, and this is all written down. Everything I talk about, my whole retrieve is written on our website on the homepage. So feel free to swing by, and if you didn't hear anything in this video that was helpful to you, again, just message me. I'm here to help. I want you to have the most success when you're on the water. I want you to go out there and hunt those trophies, so let me know what you need help with. All right, have a good one.